Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Faustian Bargains. It's been a while, but we're back.
It's been a month.
Yeah. But we're back. Welcome back to this Warhammer 40k Wrath and Glory campaign. I am William, and I am your game master. And joining me today, we have John.
I'm John, and because it's been 2 months since I
For
last
you.
played, for me, and I've completely lost the plot, so have all my characters. I'm coming back as a brand new character, Erasmus Altamari, Grey Knight Captain.
Yep. And Andrew.
Hello, I am Andrew, and I'll be playing Shazra Violos Shokais, the XV8 pilot.
And Craig.
Hi, I'm Craig. I'm playing Gabrok Teeftosser, the Bad Moon Flashkit, who also doesn't know what's going on, but that's just a character trait for him.
And Cody.
I'm Cody. I'm playing Seraphim's sister Mira, who
Well,
does remember what's going on just a little bit.
Just a bit. It's been a while.
Yes.
And when last we left off, the party having gotten a rough layout of potential places to look for the leads to find and track down the rogue inquisitor Gregor Eisenhorn, first decided that they needed to retrieve their inquisitor because he's the one who has to make a lot of major decisions and also might have some contacts that could help with this. And so with a lead ahead, it is time to retrieve him from where he is currently working among the Noxian Irregulars as a commissar, working alongside the Valhallan 501st on the world of Vordrast in the western end of the galaxy.
The famous, massively multiplayer online RPG, World of Wardrast.
The ice stone has melted.
But returning as the group arrives within the orbit of Vordrast out of the warp, we are greeted by a massive orc invasion fleet orbiting the world, as there seems to be active space battles ongoing, as this orc fleet is in combat with the Imperial fleets over the skies and the skies over the planet.
Boys.
This doesn't bode well. We make it to the surface. Gabrok, maybe stick close.
What is that?
Just so that the Imperium doesn't shoot you, and also us.
Right. Right.
Yes.
But if they do, we're gonna shoot back, right?
Not at the... I don't believe we should, no.
Right. Well, and then we go and we'll stop in on the orc fleet and then you lads stick close to me.
That's right.
Why would we be boarding one of their ships?
Just to check in on the lads, maybe crack some heads.
I feel like if I go in there, I'm going to get my head cracked.
Well, that's always a possibility when you're doing some crumping. It's all part of the fun.
Meanwhile, as this conversation is happening,
Sorry, I've already sidetracked you, William.
no, go for it. I was waiting for conversations. Lysander Corax, the first officer, looks over a few of the crew's overlays as he's observing the situation and looks back at the group of you. Well, it looks like your Inquisitor is right in the middle of a dangerous war zone. Getting you down on planet's going to be a bit of a trick. But we'll probably be able to do it just fine. Looks like most of the Orc blockade is kept up with Imperial naval forces. We should be able to slip through as long as we don't fire any shots to draw their attention.
means the windows stay up, Gabruk.
Right, who's doing it commando style?
Exactly. And the ship mistress, Kayleen Tremera, sitting on the command throne, just kind of calls out, "All right, weapons powered down. Don't even give them the reactor signature. Just move in quiet and silent. Quiet and silent words. Quiet and cold."
By nature of being quiet, we are being silent, says someone who then gets shot.
Don't question me.
By the way, we start with wrath or anything like that?
Yes, you start with 2 wrath.
Mm-hmm.
Do we start with any faith?
If you
faith talents.
If you have faith talents, you
Okay.
will always have faith until you spend it.
Got it.
and I start with 4 ruin because there are 4 players here.
I'm still determining my background and stuff.
At this point is when what's his name? Uriel Marbre speaks up, the Seneschal. All right, so we'll be getting some of you down to planet. Shokais, Mira, Gabruk, the 3 of you will be going down to link up with the Inquisitor, who has apparently, by the data burst we're getting right now, also discovered a Grey Knight on the planet. So that's interesting.
What was that?
Grey Knights are space marines specialized in killing demons.
All
I
right.
wonder what one's doing out here on his own.
I like having an orc be the audience insert task.
Killing demons.
Well, the Inquisitor was investigating these the planets these guard forces were on for potential cult activity, including the Cognite, as well as potential Cognite agents infiltrating the guard units. So, a Grey Knight following that same trail might not be unheard of.
Fair enough.
But the 3 of you will be linking up with the Inquisitor and this Grey Knight on surface. Gita, 13, and Tacitus have 2 different tasks. Tacitus and 13 will be heading in one direction. Gita will be doing something else, we'll say. There's some lines that we need to get prepared before we can move to Fenris for our trip through the Rift. And Gita is best suited to those.
Understood.
Very well.
All right. And at this point, Kayleen sort of looks over. If you're done making your own plans while I'm dealing with my ship, let's get to the dangerous part. And the ship begins to rock as it starts to move in towards the ongoing battle and the repeated pressure waves of weapon blasts and also atmosphere. A ship this large can't by any means actually dock on a planet, but getting close enough to start to feel the effects of atmosphere will potentially make a launch easier for you. Unless you want to fire off in a drop pod, I'd recommend you all get to a ship.
But drop pods are fun.
Let's not keep the Inquisitor waiting.
Indeed.
Right.
Tonri will be waiting with a gun cutter for you.
Let's go. Going commando.
Yep, start heading towards the ship.
Yep. Showcase probably actually puts the booster on and just flies a decent chunk of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Has to stop the corners.
You cut your way down to the ship, and Tonri is waiting on board a gun cutter. Lets you on.
William.
All right, people.
I filled out my background, and that'll tell you why I'm on planet.
Hmm. All right, people. It's going to be a rocky entry. We're cutting through Atmo, so get ready. And
Shokais just stomps on the floor of the ship a little bit, and Maglocks clamp in.
by the way, what is everybody's objectives for this session?
I haven't gotten that far.
I have successfully negotiate with someone to whom you would normally be hostile.
Mine was recant a holy litany applicable to the current situation.
Clarify your duty, or lack thereof, in the current circumstances.
Execute a plan with the cunning of Gork. Or Mork. One of the two.
Mork would be the one, but who knows? You might not think that at the time.
I, the player, am a little hazy. Gabrick probably is too.
Mork's the clever one, Gork's the punchy one. So the ship takes off out of the docking bay and immediately is hit into the atmospheric turbulence of entering a planet. It's immediately a bumpy ride. Everything begins to jostle. Some of the alarms start to sound and are immediately shut off. As Tanri sort of corkscrews the ship down through atmosphere. There's the faint heating of the seats you're in. Just ever so slight. And a few moments later, the rumbling abruptly stops as you cut through the majority of the atmosphere, and the interference becomes a lot lighter. And the ship begins to descend. And a few seconds after the rumbling stops, it starts again, this time because munitions are bursting in the air around the ship, as you are descending into an active war zone.
Ah, flak.
Probably, I mean, not targeted us specifically. We're just passing through it.
And, I mean, you're a ship in the sky, so someone's shooting at you.
Okay.
Tanri is going to roll some dice to see how well she can pilot.
Crash, 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 crash.
I mean, the first die was a complication, but it was a successful roll. So, this is appropriate. As the ship continues to descend, at one point, all of you are almost thrown as it lurches to one side and then corrects itself in the span of a few seconds. As you hear a significant amount of swearing from the cockpit in several languages, including High Gothic.
Shokais promptly turns off the microphone inside her suit and begins rerouting almost all of her excess power to stabilizers. It doesn't help.
And a few moments later, over the intercom, you hear, "Damn Greenskin's got a lucky shot off. Rocket just took us in the wing. We'll be putting down shortly. It'll be a rough landing."
Good shooting, boys.
Don't give our enemies ideas.
Just cinches the harness just a little bit tighter.
Hey, you just got to admire good craftsmanship is all.
Just realized Shokais said that with the mic still off.
So the ship comes down, and there is a bump, a notable thump where all of you rise for a second as the ship bounces off of the ground and then crunches and digs a ravine through the earth and then comes to a halt. Mostly intact, aside from the damaged wing. But after a few moments, the ship, the back hatch slowly begins to descend. The machine spirit's going to be mad at me, but here we are. I'll be down for a bit doing repairs before I can get back up in the air.
Don't beat yourself too much. I'm sure next time you land on something.
I'm actually quite lucky I didn't land on something.
Gobber just gives her a confused look and then exits.
It is at this point that Shokais turns her mic back on. Will you be alright here on your own?
This ship is armed, so yes, I'll be fine.
Alright then.
Guns are still good, even if the wing isn't. And as you step out, you find yourself in the middle of a self-made clearing, as it looks like the ship has cut through several trees on the way down. As you arrive on Bordrast, which at the moment appears to be somewhat snowy. There are very few Earth-like worlds in the Imperium. It's very rare to find something that has just that right level of seasonal transition. A lot of them are sort of extreme worlds.
Mm-hmm.
The very rare few that exist with an almost Earth-like atmosphere are called garden worlds, or otherwise like paradise worlds and such, other terms that are similar. This one appears to have an amount of greenery, but it also appears to have a significant winter cycle, which is what you've landed in the middle of. Everything is covered in snow. And it does not appear to have been built entirely over with city structure. So it's not a hive world, which is odd, but who knows what this world is actually used for. For all you know, it could be some form of agri-world if its output during the summer times is significant enough to surpass the amount of time it has during winter, or if there's something else special about it. You haven't quite gotten any like information on the planet itself, aside from that this is where Faust and 2 regiments of the Imperial Guard are currently stationed. But the sounds of battle are not far off if you would like to try and make your way towards them.
Yep.
Gobber is probably already heading in that direction.
Gobber just crunching giant boot prints through snow.
Having already forgotten the stay near us order.
Yep, 100%.
As the other 2 of you realize that maybe you don't want the orc being the first one to break through towards the Imperial forces.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Shokais will fire the jetpack and outspeed Gobrik to cut him off. She lands directly in front of him, holds up one free hand because her plasma rifle hand is actually free. Gobrik, stop a moment.
What was that?
We want to let
walks past.
We want to let Mira take the lead.
Oh, right.
That way neither of us get shot, okay?
Right. I just sounds like such lovely shooting.
Oh, I'm sure you'll get plenty
Oh.
of chances to
he
shoot
just-
something.
He just grins. But stands and waits for Mira.
Yep. She'll walk past after she catches up, and then lead the way.
William, the description in the background, I figure, is why I'm here.
Does that fulfill my objective, William?
Negotiate with an enemy that you know will be hostile to? Sure, we'll call it that.
Someone, not specifically an enemy.
We'll call that your objective. Get your 3rd wrath.
Already accounted for. But yeah, only once Mira actually passes to, the pair of us does Shokais lower the hand and fall in beside her.
So Mira, if you would like to give me a survival check.
Sure. I can do
Difficulty 2.
that. Survival.
Good.
4.
So you can
Yeah.
shift that success if you want to.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
all.
do that. Shift it into glory.
1 glory for you.
Oh, the rite of banishment is just smite. but
for demons.
But with extra damage for demons.
Yeah, that might be why you don't have smite.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it's still free to take, so I'll just take it just in case it's relevant. But
Just in case specifically you need it for something.
yeah. No, actually, it's literally just the same. I'll just throw smite away. It's the only difference is Rites of Banishment does extra damage to demons. That's the only difference between the two things.
This makes sense. Mira, you make your way forward and sort of follow your acute senses towards the nearest side, towards the nearest battle, towards the nearest source of battle. And after a few moments, you've eventually made your way through some of this nearby forest, and the sounds of battle continue to get louder until you find the washed out and blasted remains that have been cleared by continuous combat. As you clear the forest, you find yourself at the side point of the Imperial line, as you can see two different regiments of Imperial troopers, somewhat differently arranged. In your standard Imperial lines, you can see a significant number of individuals dressed in heavy winter clothing that is sort of this uniform, like gray drab, with these heavy fur outfits, all of whom are quite gleefully placing shots downrange at the orcs lined up against them, and with a set of significant artillery pieces positioned behind them, unloading onto the orc forces. Somewhat differently laid out, there are a selection of Imperial troopers clad in midnight black, all of whom are sort of dispersed throughout the battlefield. And as you sort of get a quick glance around, you see these individuals they have almost none of the traditional tactics that you expect out of an Imperial Guard regiment. These individuals are fighting with every underhanded, dirty trick that they can use to get a leg up on the orcs. In fact, as you're watching, you hear and see one of the guardsmen in black make the most exaggerated, comically overdrawn death screams you could possibly hear from their position slightly off from the Imperial Guard line. And it's just like this overdramatic, I am killed! Sort of scream.
I have been wounded.
Godric's like, oh, somebody got that one.
And you can immediately see a line of orcs nearby start cheering and closing, like they're just, they're going to close in to finish off the people they've wounded. Mm-hmm. And then about 3 seconds later, there's just this line of detonations as a series of shape charges that they've placed in front of them goes off on the orc line.
Okay.
Godric just bursts into hearty laughter. Oh, glad we came here. This is good. Can I tell anything about them? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Showcase's technical drone emits a short series of beeps, but she is impressed by the tactics that these irregulars are using.
You can very quickly distinguish who is the 501st Valhallans and who are the Noxian irregulars.
Yeah.
Are you asking if you recognize anything about the orcs, Godric?
Yeah. Can I tell? Are they from one particular? I guess what can I tell about this WAAAGH? Is it a bunch of different clans? Is it primarily one clan?
Go ahead and roll me. Trying to think what you would roll to recognize orcs, because it wouldn't be anything to do with your intellect.
Yeah, I was going to say
skill by the way they shoot.
Most of the skills, maybe fellowship. I don't know.
Roll me cunning. That seems like an appropriate orky skill.
Okay.
Difficulty 2. It's not going to be hard. You made it.
Yeah. Okay.
What kind of complication do you think is appropriate, or do you want me to come up with one, or just take a ruin?
No, I'd like you to come up with one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like you to come up with one.
So, you immediately recognize the majority composition of these orcs. The problem is you recognize that most of them are bad moons.
Okay.
So
right, great.
You're staring down a bunch of your clan.
Excellent.
And they might not they're definitely not like, these are obviously not working for Gulgrim. There's some other boss at charge here, which means you don't immediately have any loyalty to them, but you recognize bad moons getting blown up.
Yeah. That the grin that he had sort of freezes in place. It doesn't go away. It just sort of becomes like
slightly forced.
Not forced. It's just kind of locked at this point.
Can we spot Faust or a Grey Knight?
Roll me awareness. Diff 3.
Diff 3. Okay.
Do you spot the 8-foot-tall Grey Knight?
5 successes.
It's snowy, it's easy to miss.
Yeah, this would be the worst kind of weather to try to spot a large gray armored individual.
Yeah.
Nothing but snow around.
Snow and explosions probably doesn't help. But fortunately, near the Valhallan line, actually, you can spot you spot 2 individuals, actually, in the long black trench coat and tall hat of the commissariat, one of which is wielding a chainsword with a las pistol, and sort of exhorting the Valhallans towards the battle line, while the other is carrying a power sword and a bolt pistol.
It's like, well, the other one is 8 foot tall and also wearing gray armor, power armor. It's like, why am I wearing a commissar jacket? That's weird.
And then beside those two commissars, you do also notice the significantly tall, heavily power armored individual with a Nemesis Force Blade and wrist-mounted Storm Bolter just sort of firing away at the orc lines.
Through my our helmets aren't linked with the comm to Faust.
Do we have a comm link with a Vox frequency for Faust?
You probably have one, yeah.
Okay. Then I will just tap the side of my helmet, activate it real quick, and say, Faust, we're on your left. We've made it planet side. Instruct the troops not to shoot the 2 behind me, please. And we'll break the tree cover as soon as we receive confirmation.
So immediately you see the one with the power sword and the bolt pistol sort of stop what they're doing for a second, look to their left and spot all of you, and you see the beard and the significantly sort of still a little shaggy after a while, but more well-kempt than usual features of Faust that have grown out to be a little more shaggy in his experience here. And he sort of makes a face for a second and then turns and shouts something to the other commissar, who looks at him like he just said the Emperor is about to sit down on this battlefield. Like, what the hell are you on about? And then he reiterates it, and he just shrugs, all right, and turns and shouts something to the Valhallans. You get back over the comm bead. Move quickly to my position, if you don't mind.
Time to go. And she'll motion for everybody to follow her and head straight for Faust.
Yep, Showcase is right behind her. Maybe even ahead of her, because jetpack.
Well, they both have jetpacks.
Oh yeah, true.
Mine's not on.
Gobrick comes pounding down after everybody else and shouting at the top of his lungs, "I'm not one of the ones you lot are supposed to shoot!"
And you do notice, like, a good portion of the Imperial Guard flinch and turn and look at the orc and almost look like they're about to raise guns, and then one of the commissars shouts them down. And, like, you definitely hear from the other commissar, "If one of you bloody idiots opens fire on that one orc, not the one we're shooting at, I will kill you myself."
The Storm Bolter also turns in that direction from the Grey Knight. Oh, there's an orc coming from behind us.
With just absolute confidence.
And Faust immediately, "Brother Erasmus, he's ours."
The big one as well. The Storm Bolter shifting over towards the Tau.
Yes, the Tau is also with us.
You keep strange company, Faust.
Indeed I do. Anything to defeat chaos.
Well said. Turns it back towards the orcs. Keeps firing.
Oh, look, I have unspent ammunition.
Basically.
And as you arrive, you hear the other commissar, "Well, Inquisitor, if you would kindly explain to me why there is an orc and a Tau on my battlefield." And you immediately surmise that this commissar has already had the conversation about Faust being an Inquisitor.
In response, before Faust can respond, the Grey Knight just goes, "Didn't you hear him, brother? To eliminate chaos."
And Faust just kind of looks over at him. "Trust me, their aid will be worthwhile." And he continues firing. "Gobruk, Mira, Shokais, may I introduce you to Brother Captain Erasmus Altimari and Commissar Caiaphas Kane."
"Hey, Yumi, boss. Hey, other Yumis."
For specifically for Gobruk's edification, the helmet that Erasmus is wearing his helmet, and the Grey Knight's helmet has the sort of axe beak front to it.
Mm-hmm.
So he is a beaky.
Yay! Gobrick's very happy.
It's not quite the same kind of beaky as like Raven Guard beakies, but it is definitely a beak.
It's more beaky than the Primaris Marines helmets were.
Yeah.
I think, as we discussed before, this is probably the first one that Gobrick has actually seen that actually has a beak.
Yeah.
But he's just like, "Oh, all right, this will make sense."
Yeah, the Grey Knight armor, for those unfamiliar, Grey Knights wear sort of that stainless steel gray armor. Erasmus's is accented with red, with white robe attachments flowing from various places, and this sort of like basically like a Saleh helm, but 40K version, so it's solid rather than...
They have like the portcullis beak that comes to like an axe point in the front,
which is
like you...
the way Saleh helms are designed, except there's no openings. It's just a solid helm.
Yeah,
got it.
And or not that, not some Saleh, but that's not maybe that's not the one I'm thinking of. But anyways, yeah, and just large, a large force sword that looks distinctly different from other force swords, with additional inscription on the blade and the big eye of the Inquisitorium on it. And then the armor is also decorated with Inquisitorial insignias, along with skulls and writing. And there's a particularly large, like, boxy compartment attached to the chest of the armor that is covered with the Imperial insignia. Because that's where his librum is.
Yep.
Because,
and then attached to his left wrist is just a storm bolter mounted onto his left arm.
yeah, which is big double-barreled rapid-fire thing with a connection into the arm. Just bracka, bracka, bracka.
It's like the plasma rifle.
Yep. So, the Inquisitor sort of turns to the group of you. I suppose that you've come to escort me from this place, but I'm afraid we're going to have to deal with this shortly. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a gamble getting off planet.
Understood. Where are we needed?
And sort of Faust looks over to the right and sort of looks over at Caiaphas. Commissar K, if I'm not mistaken, one of their, well, I think their war boss is trying to get in ahead of the crowd as he looks over to the right, and Kane sort of looks over where Faust is looking in his Emperor's blood. God, Emperor, damn it! And you can see where he's looking, a massive wagon is breaking from the lines and charging forward towards basically where you guys are at. This sort of huge, heavily armored, completely gaudy painted yellow brick with like a steamroller on the front of it is currently charging directly towards your position through heavy tank and incoming fire as it just breaks forward. And Faust sort of looks over his shoulder. Well, as it turns out, where you're needed is to kill the enemy war boss as he's about to break into us.
How barbaric. All right, let's get started.
Oi!
Swords come out and flip.
Oh, hold on a moment. Those are me lads. Those are other bad moons out there.
They are, Gobrick, but they're not working for Gulgrim, now are they?
So what I was thinking is I go out there, act like I was one of the lads, and then I crump the boss on the back of the head.
That would work if he wasn't immediately barreling at us in a battle wagon, Gobrick.
All right, I was gonna crump him in the front again.
As we move to battle.
I don't think that counts as a cunning plan, but I was trying.
William, I have a question.
Yes.
Would centering a blast on the war truck affect the creatures inside of it if it says this power affects all creatures in a medium blast?
You would not be able to manifest it inside the truck because you don't have line of sight to the inside. And if you just manifest it outside the truck will absorb the blast.
Okay.
Do I know anything about the? I know mechanical design among orcs is fairly difficult to suggest or predict. But do I know anything about what the weak point on a truck like this might be?
You kind of shoot at it, honestly.
Okay.
Like,
Fair.
A battle wagon is meant to take hits. It's the super heavy tank that orcs field.
So, I forget, how does initiative work?
Same way it works in Lancer.
We go, they go.
Can I go first?
Sure.
So, goes from just blasting into the orc front line with a storm bolter to directing the force sword towards the truck and crying out, "Brothers, focus your fire!" as I am going to use astral aim on everybody around me. Specifically targeting the war truck and the war boss inside. Bwam. It didn't roll. Why didn't it roll? Do I have to not have it popped out for it to roll? First, I have to make my thing roll before I can... Yeah, it's not rolling at all. Let's just make a psychic mastery roll. Right? Yeah. That's also not rolling. Oh, I need to click use inline dice, don't I?
Yes, use inline dice.
I need to have that selected so that it'll do the thing. There we go. 5 successes is all I needed. All allies within 5 meters of me may make ranged attacks against the enemy against enemies you cannot see, and ignore any bonuses to defense from cover on those ranged attacks until the start of my next turn. So everyone within 5 meters of me can shoot the war boss directly.
Yep, you can attempt to fire at people inside the battle wagon. Which is good, because the battle wagon is the first thing you have to get through to get to the war boss.
So I give a rallying cry towards the battle wagon as it approaches, and use astral aim to influence both you guys and all the NPCs around me.
You know what? This will do for a stand.
There is this sort of gleaming white light just sort of erupts off the sword, and little halos sort of surround all of your weapons.
Orcs, no, like orc out of his right mind would make anything out of wood when they could make it out of good scrap metal. But
that's right.
Just need orcs. I wish I had like a good set of like orc tokens.
I can make some for you if you want.
That'd probably be useful, yeah.
Yeah, I'll make some on Hero Forge. Get you them. You want like the face-on icons or face-down minis or top-down minis?
And probably just like face-on.
Yeah. Just
to make it easy to read.
Yeah.
But anyway, while I...
What, boys, knobs, commandos?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Boys, knobs, commandos.
Don't do a Google search for boys, knobs.
I do Google searches for boys, knobs all the time.
You people worry me sometimes.
Nothing to worry about.
I'm worried about it.
You're right. That was unfair. I should clarify. Don't do that Google search if you want to find orcs.
There you go.
Oh man, I wish the bestiary is not nearly as big as it was in the first edition. There was just like a significant set of orc units.
Go grab them. The mechanics aren't that different that you can't sub.
No, they're not. Yeah.
Like you just follow the rules for second edition, but use those stats.
Bestiary, orc threats. There we go.
Fortunately, they have Hero Forge has several very asterisk not Warhammer 40k weapons, so it's like they have a bolt pistol that's very clearly a bolt pistol, but doesn't have an eagle on the side of it.
All right, so piled into this massive battle wagon, we've got. Let me see if I can get anything useful out of this. Base orc.
Yeah, and like they have a weapon called the Orcish Cleaver, which is just a chopper. It's literally just a chopper.
See, now I'm kind of imagining it as a stand-in procedure, since these are bad moves that we're fighting. William just takes the token for Goldberg and duplicates it.
Duplication.
Got a wonderful thing.
Honestly, I have this token still saved up that I can use. Wrong kind of orc, but it works. We'll use that for the boss. And then there's a squad of about... This is a supermassive battle wagon that can carry significantly more orcs than one would normally expect because it was built by bad moons. So there's a squad of about 20 regular boys piled into this battle wagon, and then about 10 knobs in with the war boss. So first, the battle wagon goes as it crunches in.
You have not yet shifted us to another screen, right?
No, I have not. I'm going to move you now.
That's no, I was not trying to nag you. I just wanted to make sure. All right.
That's what I've got to use right now.
Okay.
Go ahead and put a 0 there for 10 because this you can't for some reason put double digits. Yeah, 2, 0. That works. 1, 0. There you go.
Oh, I ought to be back up at full shock and wounds, shouldn't I? There we go. Don't know why I didn't do that before.
Because it's been a month or more.
So first off, the battle wagon rams into the redoubt that all of you are using for cover. So I'm going to need everybody to make a... Let's see, what kind of test does that need? Go back to look at character sheets from looking at tokens. Make me an agility test.
Agility tests?
Oh.
4.
5.
3.
All right, well, your DN was 3, so...
Which is over half of my agility score.
Your target number was 3, so you managed to avoid getting rammed into by the sheer weight of this battle wagon as it crashes through. However, being a vehicle, it will also fire some of its guns at the group of you. Which means biggest targets. Shokais,
Hi.
and the Orc and the Grey Knight.
The Glowy Knight.
You've made your first mistake. You've come closer.
You're in melee range now.
Alright, so shooting is about how you expect orcs to do it. Their shooting pool is terrible.
Bad Moon's colors are yellow, right?
Yes,
Yellow.
Gold and black.
Gold and black?
It's gold with black flames, usually.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get that detailed on this.
But does a 2 hit Shokais?
No.
Didn't think it did.
I imagine many bullets do, but they don't do anything.
Yeah, it's just like there's just this big, massive, like double-barreled shooter that just fires out, just and just bounces all of the shots off, or misses half of them.
Just a pile of sparks coming off the battle suit.
A 0 definitely does not hit Gobruk, as just a series of bullets whiz past you.
Oi!
And a 2 I don't think hits Erasmus either.
No.
family gets family. Boy,
My defense.
lad against lad, for a war has begun, and that makes me glad.
As yet more shots just ring out and either bounce off of the armor or just completely miss entirely. And that is the battle wagon's turn. Who would like to go next?
You want a specific color of frame, William?
Red for enemy works fine.
I would love to.
Go for it.
Go right ahead.
Let's see. You can't do 2 attacks with 2 different weapons, right?
If you have dual wielder, you can.
Okay.
Or no, it's just no. You can no matter what.
Yeah, it's called
just the
multi-attacking.
second one's the second one has a modifier.
Okay. Can I claw through the outer plating with my power claw?
You can certainly try.
Yeah, I want to just I'll tell you what I want to do. What I would like to do ideally is punch through it, then stick the snaz gun in the hole and shoot. So just how do you attack a tank? Just roll attack?
Just roll your attack.
Okay.
I'll tell you, its defense is not that high.
So that's a 7. Icons count for 2 still, right? If you get a 6, it counts.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exalted's count for 2.
Yeah, 7.
Let me see.
I'll put these in Slack for you, William.
Thank you. Yeah, so you definitely hit. Its defense is 3. It's easy to hit. It just has a ton of armor.
Yeah, my power claw is AP -3.
Yep.
And so just roll damage.
Yep, roll your damage.
And it is brutal, although I don't know if that applies against.
It does.
Oh.
It applies to you rolling your wounds. So
Can I shift 2 of those into extra damage?
absolutely.
Okay.
There's an orc chopper.
Oh wait, I'll put one, if I may. I'll put one into wrath, or one into glory, and then the 2, because I only needed a 3, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll put 1 into glory, and 2 bonus damage. Okay, so 4. I'm not. Hold on, but that's brutal. So if that applies.
Yeah, so the 3s add 1 damage, and the 5s add 2 damage. So
Yeah,
so that's
and
total of 8.
So yeah, that's 2, 4, 6. Yeah, that's 8 extra damage on top of whatever the regular damage of your claw is.
6, and it's again it's AP3.
What's your strength at?
I just boosted it. It's 9.
Yeah, that shouldn't be the case.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, the damage rating on your claw is 12 because it adds your your strength into it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the one in the circle is the final calculation.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So the base DR is that, yeah.
Is 6, yeah. So 15 plus 8, 23 damage, AP minus 3. Ow!
Does that punch a hole?
There aren't vehicle rules yet. I'm basically completely wild running these, so I'm gonna really quick roll myself a d6 here.
Okay.
I will say yes. You rip a hole through the side of the battle wagon.
Okay. I mean, that's not enough to sideline the battle wagon, right? I mean,
No, but it's enough to rip a hole large enough to fire through without needing cover.
Yeah, so he, I think, just reaches out with the power claw that he took off the Chaos Marine, and grabs a chunk of the side plating, yanks it off, sticks his head in and goes, "Hello, boys! Looks like Jack is back on the menu." And sticks his gun in. Now, I assume I'm at close range.
Yes.
This is gonna suck.
You are in short range.
How many boys are inside?
There are 20 boys, 10 knobs, and the war boss.
Well, this is gonna fucking suck for them because I have spread on my snaz gun.
Oh boy.
Here it comes.
Oh, fuck.
There's a chopper.
I just
really-
imagine.
What? Go ahead.
There's.
I said I'm just imagining Gobrick's gonna stick the gun in there and say the trick is to just hold down the trigger until the noise stops coming out.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I'm gonna unload with my salvo, so I'm gonna add all of my salvo, which is even higher now. Okay.
So your difficulty is higher. Not that that's gonna mean much because you're making your second attack. It's higher by 2.
Yes, fair. Do I change that, or do you?
I consider that calculation.
Okay, all right. So I'm adding that in. I'm going to make this attack roll. That's a lot of fucking dice, my dudes.
Holy fuck!
Your difficulty was 5 because their defense is normally 3.
So 5 and up hits. Is that how?
Well, no, you need 5 successes to
Yeah.
hit successfully.
So I got, let's see, 14, 15, 16, 18. So 18.
Jesus.
So I'll
19, including the wrath die.
Oh yes, thank you. So 19. I will shift another one of those into glory, please.
Okay.
I will shift. Can I shift the remaining? What?
3.
I'm sorry. What was it? What was the difficulty to hit?
5. You could shift all of them.
Jesus. Okay. So the remaining 13 I can shift.
Well, you can only shift the exalted ones. The 6s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
got
Yeah.
3
So
shifts,
yeah. God, that would be bananas. I'm sorry. I'm forgetting the rules.
It's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
So I'm
been a
going to
while.
shift the remaining 3. So that's giving me a total of 7 damage bonus die. So
I didn't roll all of those.
yeah, wow, that's weird. Let me.
Well, just
What? I'm just gonna roll. Should I just roll?
just roll. You've rolled 4 of them, so just roll the rest as just an extra amount of d6.
5d6.
So yeah, 5d6.
Okay. And do exalteds double as well?
They count for 2, like your 5s and 6s both count for 2 damage.
Okay.
So that's
well. To be fair, my snaz gun is not brutal.
your snaz gun is not brutal. Then just your
No.
6s count for 2,
No,
and your 4s and 5s are 1.
Okay, so. So let's see.
There you go, William.
Base
You've got
damage.
a chopper, a shooter, and a knob in Slack. If you want anything more specific, let me know. I've got Hero Forge open.
So 20 damage.
Fuck.
And well, and let me, if you don't recall, perhaps let me remind you of what spread does, which is when fired at close range, a spread weapon can hit any number of targets in a radius of 3 meters.
Double the total damage of a spread weapon fired at a mob in short range.
Yeah, so it hits everybody, and if any of these guys count as a mob, it does double.
Well, as it turns out, the boys count as a mob.
So it's double damage to them and just regular damage to everybody else.
Well, fuck.
We told him to kill them.
Gobrick had a moral quandary, the first one in his life, for about 15 seconds, and then they shot at him.
I don't know. I was busy building minis, so I don't know if this was taken into account. But also, they don't get any bonuses to their defense because of astral aim.
I don't think it matters. He got 19 successes out of
I know,
23 dice.
It might have mattered. I don't know.
I was already considering it. They wouldn't have gotten much cover even if they had gotten cover because he just ripped a hole in the side of the battle wagon before he fired.
Look, I have one thing I do well.
So
spread is goddamn broken in the new edition.
when you're fighting mobs, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
So Gobruk just walks up to the side of the battle wagon as it's sort of like stuck into the middle of this ground, and just with his power claw just rips through the side of it and then jams the snaz gun into it. And there's just this ungodly cracking sound as you hear not just the loud sounds of the gun, but then amplified by the can it's being fired in.
While he is firing, Gobruk looks around over his shoulder and says, "This truck's mine now, all right?"
And there's just a pool of chunks and blood in the aftermath of this battlefield as the mob of boys is gone. And the mob of knobs has been cut in half. There are now 5 knobs.
How's the war boss doing?
The war boss put everybody else in front of him.
Smart.
That's why he's the boss.
I would also, if I can do one more shout on my turn, I'll also shout in, "Oi, if there's any ammo ronks in there looking for a new boss, how's your lad?"
Roll me a fellowship roll, real quick.
Okay. And let's see,
That's just your strength, isn't it? As an orc.
No, that's how you calculate your influence, not your fellowship. Your fellowship is still its own stat.
Is it a skill?
It's an
It's
attribute.
an attribute.
Okay.
Watch as he just rolls all 6s and becomes the new war boss.
It's your charisma attribute. So.
Yeah, which is not super high. No, I just okay. So I got 2 because
You got 2.
Okay.
So, interestingly,
Can
we'll handle that in a minute.
Okay. All right.
Now it is the knob's turn.
Can I make an argument that I get a bonus because I just fucking ripped apart everybody in the truck?
I have taken it into consideration.
Fair. Sorry, William. I like the new rules. What can I say?
No, I love it. This is amazing. I wasn't intending this to be a long fight, and you're making it definitely not a long fight.
Wait until we get to demons, and then that's when I get to go, "Hey, look, tear apart
Totally
enemies."
fair.
So now it's the knob's turn, as these squad of 5 knobs that is now left, they charge out big choppers as with a side door next to where Gobruk is at just crashes down, and the knobs all charge out and try and basically mob around Gobruk and attack.
I like that from my perspective. I just solved 2 problems with one solution because I like go kill them with gunfire. Oh look, it worked, and now they're swarming the orcs, so it's a win-win.
So every person beyond the first in the mob gives an extra die to the attack.
And these are the knobs, right?
Yes, these are the knobs.
Okay.
These are the big boys. Kill that shooter.
Gobruk, can you remind me what the WAAAGH keyword does?
Yes. If you are damaged, it gives you I think 1 extra bonus die. And it gives, I think, 1 extra attack die just in general.
If you're an orc. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing you just fucking put bullets in them, yeah.
Yeah, I know. That one's coming back on me. But yeah.
You'll be fine.
I think it's just so it's you get 1 bonus die to attacks if you're an orc, and then if you are wounded, you gain an extra damage die.
So what's your defense?
I mean, not fantastic. 5.
So that's...
Wait, should that be higher now? Does that increase with... That doesn't increase with strength, right?
No, it's
initiative.
Initiative, yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they can shift all but one of these 6s.
That's not great.
So it's going to be 3 6s shifted for extra damage.
Fair.
So that's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra damage on top of this. So that's going to be 17 damage at AP -1 to you, Gobrick.
Okay, and AP is resilience or just armor value?
Resilience.
No, armor value.
It subtracts from your resilience up to a maximum of your armor value.
Of your armor value, okay. All right, so you said 17 total?
Yes.
AP 1.
Yeah, AP -1.
Okay, no problem. I would like to take a shock and soak.
You don't take shock when you roll determination now.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
You just take the amount of shock that you save.
Oh, so you take whatever you soak as shock, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You don't have to suffer 1 shock automatically anymore. So that'll soak you 5.
Okay, cool.
All right. And that ends the knob's turn. How bad did that hurt, Gobrick?
With the soak, that was I actually don't take any wounds because you said it was. No, I'm sorry. I take 1 wound because it was AP 1. My resilience is 12, so.
So you would have taken 6 and you soaked 5. Yeah, so you take 1.
Yeah.
All right. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
All right ahead.
All right. Mira will dash forward. I'm assuming the war boss hasn't come out yet.
No, he's still inside.
Okay. Then, yeah, actually, yeah, no, she'll go help Gobrick. She'll dash forwards, and Blender's gonna blend. So, let's see. Dual wielder. Let's see. So just roll 1 attack and then just double the die, or double the damage for the resilience and all that stuff.
Yep, and double their resilience.
Yep. So there's the attack. That's 8, 9, 10.
Yep.
Successes.
Yep. Their defense is 3.
I believe that's a critical.
Nice.
That is also a critical hit, yes. So go ahead and roll me your critical hit.
Oh.
What, I have never rolled one, but also it's been a month. What do I do?
Right. Let me.
What do you mean you've never rolled one? You rolled one last session, apparently.
Okay.
I mean,
Roll
it's
a
also been a month.
D66.
So.
A D6. Oh yeah, D66. 65.
All right, and I believe I have this in the combat crit table.
Oh,
Yep.
they've added piercings to Hero Forge.
Yes,
So-
I noticed that as well.
Appalling detonation. Ill fortune causes the blow to strike the foe's vital, volatile war gear. A chain of explosions tears their body apart into grisly red mist. Target suffers 1d6 wounds. If the target carried any explosives, such as grenades or ammunition, they detonate, inflicting 1d3 mortal wounds. You can spend some glory for a severity, which is +1 bonus target within 10 meters, or +1 wound, your choice. Also, for every glory point you spend, you can choose one of the following effects. The critical hit affects an additional target within 10 meters, or that's what the severity is. Yeah, that's what the glory is.
Let's see. I can only put 1 point into glory anyways with a shift. I'll put 1 into glory, 2 into extra damage, and I will spend one glory to add another target.
I say so. Glory stays at 3.
Yep.
So, okay.
And then bonus damage die 2.
These guys are technically a mob, so you attack them as a single target, and then the extra target, I guess, is the war boss.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so she'll jetpack in, do a couple of sweet spinning slashes, and then a grenade pops or falls off, and she kind of just backhands it back into the war truck.
Yeah.
Or the detonation shoot rockets one of them into there. But here's the damage. Oh, 1.
Yeah, that only rolled 4 of them. Roll 2 more.
All right, I'll just roll 2d6. No,
Your weapons are brutal, right? Or are they not? They're not chain swords. They're power swords.
Yeah, chain swords. Yeah, these ones have AP -3.
Mm-hmm. How much damage is that total with AP -3?
Well, total it's let's see.
Yeah, because that's your extra damage. Extra damage, remember?
Yeah, that'd be 25 damage, AP -3.
And they get double their resilience and then -3.
I need to get I need to get the Storm of Death talent now that I've got a Force Sword again. She attacks somebody twice with a Force Sword for 30 plus damage.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what was your total? Yours 8. Yeah, okay. So you hit 3 of the defense is 3, and you had 8 successes. So you hit all 5 of them with that. Because every icon you roll on the attack test, every icon rolled over the mob's defense means an additional individual in the mob is hit.
Sweet.
So since their defense was only 3 and you rolled 8, you hit all 5 of them.
Yeah, actually, so the what it is she spins around, slashing into them, and then the last one she kind of just jabs, pierces straight in the chest, and then kicks them back into the war truck where they blow up. that works out way better.
So yeah, all of them die. And then the war boss, who did have explosives on him, suffers 1d6 wounds and 1d3 mortal wounds.
Fantastic.
Okay. He suffers 3 wounds.
And as she kicks, she just goes back in the truck, and
and then it's his turn.
And then it's Shokai's turn to close it out.
That's right. Come out in the open. I dare you.
The war boss stomps out of the ramp.
He doesn't have to come out in the open. You can shoot him through cover.
Oh, yeah.
The war boss stomps out of the ramp and immediately just swings his power claw at both Gobrook and Mira, with just this broad, sweeping arc. So he's going to roll his attack test.
Does this look like it's an orcish power claw or like a looted power claw?
It's definitely an orc power claw,
okay,
but it's huge.
time for an upgrade, Gobrook.
Boy.
Oh, no.
Something proper orky, not this chaos.
Not an upgrade. You get one on each hand.
Then he can't fire the gun.
You can fire a gun with a lightning claw if you're clever enough.
And so I'm gonna spend a ruin
If you're cunning enough.
for his I'm the boss ability. So he gets a couple extra die on this attack.
I'm just picturing Gobrook like, I got these two claws, but I can't pull the trigger. So I figured I'd make the trigger in my teeth. So that every time I goes to eat, I was eating Daka.
I trained Fancy Lad to pull the trigger.
Sets the gun down. Fancy Lad, let him have it. And then the gun just goes everywhere.
I'm just gonna roll this publicly, just for the amusement factor of this might hurt. That might hurt.
That might hurt. Yeah,
that might hurt. I think that misses.
Was that to hit or was that damage?
That's the to hit.
Okay.
Okay. Before I die, let me ask: did my plan of ripping off the plate and then shooting a bunch inside count as a cunning plan?
Yes.
Like Mork standard.
That was the cunning of Mork.
1,
All
2,
right.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Only 13 successes.
Both of your defenses are up by 2 because he's targeting both of you. Does that hit both of you?
Actually, just hits.
And I'm sure
parry.
What's your defense with the increase?
12.
12?
I mean, mine's only 5, so yeah, definitely.
Well, he can't shift because he wants to hit both of you. So
No, hang on. 2 from the swords and 2 for... So it's actually only 10.
Okay, 10. So he can shift one of these.
Yeah.
For extra damage.
Unless he doesn't want to hit Mira, in which case he can shift more than one of them.
And just dumpster Gobberg.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that might make sense because if he doesn't want to get killed and deposed,
Just like swipes, misses Mira, embeds in Gobrook.
wait.
Aha, you missed. Oh, fuck. Sorry, Gobrook.
And then he's wounded.
Oh my god. If this doesn't kill me and then I kill him, do I become the new boss? I think I do, right?
Theoretically.
Fuck yeah.
If it does
Especially because
kill
you're
you-
already a bad moon.
Yeah, this will resolve this shit real fast.
If it does kill you, you come back as a space marine.
So, that is, because his weapon is brutal, 2 extra, 4 extra, 5, 6 extra damage. So that's going to be
12, right?
25 damage, AP minus 3.
Jesus. Okay.
At both of us?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably gonna kill me.
It's our first actual death, maybe.
Yeah.
It might not be, because remember, you can spend Wrath to try to not die.
Oh, yeah, fair. Okay. I'm gonna try to soak.
How do
just to
dying
mitigate as
mechanics
much as
work?
possible.
So 3 of my armor is impenetrable.
So you can never have your armor reduced below that number.
So, all right.
So I'm sorry. It was 25 total AP3.
Yes.
Okay.
That's not good. So I soak 1. I think that actually kills me as well.
I have 1 wound left, but I pass out because I'm out of shock.
Let's see. 8 for the shot. Or 1 shock. And then I have a resilience of 13. So AP...
It's AP3, so it goes down to 10.
Okay. So yeah, no, that kills me.
What's your total armor value though?
8.
Oh, okay. Right, gotcha.
So then,
But you can spend a wrath not to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
How does that work?
let me check the dying rules real
If
quick.
you suffer more wounds than your maximum wounds, you are dying. You are on the verge of expiration, unable to move or fight properly, and will perish if you do not receive medical attention soon. When you are dying, you immediately suffer a memorable injury and fall prone.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna spend a reflexive action, and I'm gonna the Emperor protects. I'm gonna spend faith, and the attack misses.
You just declare the attack to miss you. I forgot that was a talent you have. It's real useful, ain't it?
Yeah, it is very useful when you only have 9 wounds.
I'll finish reading this just so we all know what happens.
Yes, please do.
When you are dying, you immediately suffer a memorable injury and fall prone. You cannot stand up while you are dying. Whenever you take any amount of damage that would cause you to suffer a wound while dying, you suffer a traumatic injury instead. If you suffer more traumatic injuries than your tier +1, you die. So every wound you take beyond that, I guess. Oh, no. After you start dying, any wounds you take after that give you traumatic injuries. You may roll determination when you take damage while dying. If you use determination to reduce any damage you take to 0, you do not suffer a traumatic injury. A dying character can be moved by another character if they use a combat action to drag or lift a fallen comrade. If you recover any wounds, you are no longer dying. You may only take one of the following actions on your turn when you are dying. You can crawl, you can do a basic combat action, no using options such as aim or multi-attack, and you can fall back. Whenever you make a test while dying, you replace additional dice in your pool with wrath dice equal to the number of traumatic injuries you are currently suffering. This means that you usually have a number of wrath dice in your pool equal to your number of traumatic injuries +1. If you roll a complication on any wrath die, you suffer a traumatic injury. You must roll a 6 on every wrath die to trigger a wrath critical. If you suffer damage from a single attack that inflicts more than double your maximum wounds, you are dead. This is known as annihilation.
Praise the Emperor.
So, Craig is at 1 wound and unconscious. Or Gobrick is at...
I actually just looked it up. I'm exhausted. I'm not unconscious.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I can still do shit.
You're at 1 wound and exhausted. Mira just dodged the attack.
Swords up at the last minute just to deflect it.
Yeah, you spend 2 faith to force an attack directed at you to miss. While the Emperor protects.
The thing you're talking about with Wrath, by the way, is the last stand rule, which is an optional rule.
That's it.
While dying, you can spend all of your Wrath, at least 1, to ignore any and all penalties for the entire round, including those from being wounded and dying. At the end of this turn, you suffer D3 traumatic injuries.
That's how that works.
All right. Now it's Shokai's turn.
Now it is Shokai's turn, yes.
Shokais levels both weapons at the war boss and just opens fire.
Roll your attack.
Okay, and because this is a multi-attack action, so I get my Battlesuit Mastery trait. I get an extra 3 bonus dice on each roll.
Oh, William.
Starting with the burst cannon.
I still get my species ability like Angel of Death, don't I?
Yes, you do get the Space Marine species abilities.
7, 8, 9, 10, and a critical hit.
Roll me your critical hit.
13, which is headshot.
I just don't get Space Marine implants or Honor of the Chapter.
You do. You have your own chapter, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but...
No, you also get the implants, yes.
Oh, do I? Oh, sweet.
Yeah, you still have the implants.
So my resolve increases by 1.
So the target suffers 1d3 wounds and is staggered. Glory plus 1 wound for every glory you spend.
I am... I can shift any of those 3, right?
His defense is... even in power armor, is still 3. His defense does not go up, just his armor.
Okay, great. So I'm going to shift... Actually, I'm going to shift all of those 3 into extra damage. So he gets the 1 extra from the headshot, so 3 bonus damage. It only rolled 1 of them for some reason.
Bonus damage is broken on the sheet for some reason.
There we go, that's what we like to see. So that is 4 extra for a total of 16 damage, no AP.
16, no AP.
Hmm?
You do 1 damage to him.
Alright, well.
On top of the one that you already did.
That's what the plasma rifle's for.
Roll me a d66 for your complication.
Oh boy. 31?
31. Weapon jam. Requires a DN2 tech int test to use again.
Alright.
But you still fire this off.
That's what your drones are for.
Exactly. I've got a technical drone for that. Okay, so that is... Yeah, I'll shift that 1. Yeah, I think I'll just shift that 1 into extra damage. So then... That's an extra 2, so that is another 16 at AP minus 3. Oh, wait a minute. No, I need another 2 because I have rapid fire. Make that 18 AP minus 3.
18, AP minus 3. This is armor from 15 to 12, which means it does 6 damage to it. How many wounds does this guy have? He's still standing. Not
Cool.
by a lot, but he's still standing.
My drones go now.
Yep, your drones go.
My gun drone fire, I'm going to spend 1 of my ammunition to fire a photon grenade from my gun drone.
Okay.
Oh, it's nice to see that they
5,
added
6.
keywords to the languages so that you just get these languages if you have these keywords.
So that's an 8 successes, I believe.
Yes, and roll me your crit.
Oh, another critical. All right then. 51.
Overpowering Assault. A stunning blow sends the foe lurching away, senses blurred by brutal impact. Target suffers 1d6 shock and is staggered. Glory plus 2 shock for every glory you spend.
Oh, so the photon grenade hit him in the head as well. The photon grenade blinds him until the end of his next turn, and is that still a thing? Must test to avoid being pinned.
Let me see if pinning is still a thing.
Ah, it's under the conditions.
Yes. Resolve test. DN equal to the salvo value of the weapon.
It is a grenade launcher and has salvo dash. So, assume that's 0.
So if they get any successes, basically. Resolve. Okay. It's not super high, so they might theoretically. Nope, they had 2 successes. They do not get pinned.
That's fine. He's still blinded, though.
Yep. And how much damage was that?
None. It's a
None?
flashback.
Oh, okay. He takes a couple of shock.
And then my technical drone will attempt to fix the plasma rifle. So that increases the DN to 4, I believe.
Yes.
All right, that's.
Because you're trying to do 2 things at once.
That's a
You
success.
barely achieve it. You
Great.
can use your gun again.
Excellent.
Top of the round.
Well, and then the Imperial Guards around us turn and fire.
Well, they're busy with the rest of the orcs.
Okay.
I would for lore reasons, I would really like to try to take this guy out.
Are you able to do anything right now?
Yeah, I can do basic combat actions.
Okay.
I can't do fancy stuff. But like I assume that would include called shots, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you can't do called shots or anything that requires an ability other than just a regular attack.
Can I still attack with both weapons, or is that?
No, you can do a normal attack.
Yeah.
You can't do a multi-attack. You can just attack with a weapon.
All right, yeah, I think that's more than fair. So Gobert just sort of pushes himself back up, shoves most of his guts back inside, and then will level the snaz gun and open fire.
If you fail, he kills you.
Yeah, I know, but I mean that's gonna happen no matter what, and I still get to roll a fuck ton of dice with this thing, even if I'm not doing extra stuff. Can I still do a reload or no?
No, you can't do any modifiers to the attack.
All right, fair.
What condition are you under, by the way, right now?
Exhausted.
Exhausted.
But Fancy Lad can still help me out, right?
Yes, Fancy Lad still provides the bonus he always provides for being there.
Oh, that's my lad. Okay.
You may not roll determination, and any shock is immediately converted into mortal wounds.
You hit him.
Okay. Anything left over?
There is no exalted icons there, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Even if you had them.
All right. So just bonus.
You are in short range, so whatever your spray and pray thing is will activate.
Yeah, well, that's just spread.
Yeah, that's just it hits extra people, and I think it's
better against killing mobs.
Yeah, I don't think it does. Yeah, it doesn't do anything fancy against a single opponent, but I do still have some bonus dice just from the snaz gun. But so this is AP. It's still not. I have 2 more bonus dice for whatever reason. I don't know why it's still doing this. Okay, so 2 extra damage. No exalted icons. So a total of 14 damage. AP -2.
Which makes it do exactly 1 damage to him. How do you want to do this?
I was off by 1.
He took 11 wounds. He had 12 wounds total.
So Gabrick really just with his well, I think actually sort of shoves what he can back inside, reaches up to steady himself with the power claw, grabbing onto the war boss's power claw, and just pulls himself up, gets it right into his face, and then brings the snaz gun up under his chin and fires with all the barrels.
The war boss sort of looks down as he's raising the power claw, like he's about to strike Mira again, as the tiny thing that got away from his initial strike, and then suddenly there's a barrel under his chin, and he looks down and he sees Gobrook, and he just goes, "Fair play then," and his head is gone.
I would like, if I can, to pull off his power claw arm and hold it up so that any of the orcs on the other side of the Imperial line can see it.
Make me an influence test with, I'm going to say, with 3 additional dice.
Okay. Okay, so there's a mod and a bonus dice. So I would just put that in the bonus dice, right?
3 bonus dice.
Okay. Okay.
9. All right.
10, I think.
10, yes.
10.
Yeah.
Sorry, 10. Good. So a couple things happen. For just a moment, the fighting stops as the orc lines realize that their boss is dead, and then have the instinct to flee, and then realize that the person who killed their boss is another orc. And then morale immediately recoalesces, and they go back to the fight.
Okay.
Because they've got a new boss.
Who
they only assume is going to lead them back into the fight.
I'm gonna shout out as loud as I can. Oi, you lot! I's Gobrock Teeth Tosser. I's the biggest and I weighs the most. I's the new boss. And you lot is gonna come with me. I've got the best warg in the skies. We's gonna crump some chaos right in the teeth.
Roll me.
They're all like, yeah, right, and keep fighting the things they're fighting because you haven't told them to stop yet.
Roll me intimidation.
Okay. Whole bunch of things I haven't put skills in.
Would you like to spend glory for additional dice?
Oh, yes, please.
Do we have any glory to spend?
We have 3 right now.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget you can spend Wrath to reroll.
I've been busy creating my character and determining that I am the only Jolly Grey Knight in existence. So I'm just like...
How many extra dice do I get for glory?
1 per glory spent.
1 per glory. All right, yeah, I will spend another one.
So how many are you spending?
I'll spend 2 because it seems fair. Oh, can you tell me what the difficulty is?
It will be difficulty.
And I apologize, you cut out on my end.
I'm thinking.
Okay.
He didn't cut out. He stopped talking.
I'm used to having a bad internet connection, so
I'm right there with you.
They have accepted you as the new boss, but at the same time, you're asking them to not fight right now.
Right.
So difficulty 4.
Okay. Yeah, I will roll. I think I'll take 2 glory if I can.
I mean, you've already got 4 right here.
Yeah.
You got 4 successes already.
That's okay. Can you make the decision after?
Yeah, you can make the decision after you roll to add glory.
Okay. All right, then. So I'm okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you shout loud enough and long enough in this complete tirade that you sort of launch into. And eventually the orc lines back down, and one of the boys sort of steps forward and is like, okay, boss, so where's we going? As the Imperial lines, like, under Faust and Kane's orders, stop shooting in the desperate hope that if they don't fire, they won't notice the Humies are still there and will go away.
And as the fire stops and as this conversation starts, there is just an uproarious peal of laughter coming from the Grey Knight. Who just point down on the ground, probably in the corpse of an orc, and just...
Faces drones around on the Grey Knight because she has never seen a Space Marine laugh.
I'm sure a lot of the Imperial Guardsmen are also looking confused because they've never heard a Space Marine laugh either.
Space Marines only occasionally laugh, and it takes a very specific kind of Space Marine, so...
And typically they're laughing while killing things, so...
Gobrick said, do we know where we're going at this point? This is me out of character. I know we were coming to get Faust, but then we were going through the Grin, right?
Yeah, we're going through Gork's Grin. into the Segmentum Obscurus.
All right.
You also know there's another Chaos Invasion heading for Inwit.
Okay. We's going right through Gork's Grin, right into the biggest crumpum you've ever seen. Now, I need some mech boys to get me the truck up and running. The rest of yous get to looting, and you, and I'll point to the one that came up to me, you show me to me new cruiser. And then he turns around to the others and makes like a thumbs up. Like, I got this.
Just legitimate surprise on Mira's face. just blank, like that just happened.
You suspect you'll have a few other people to beat up into submission on your way to running things, but we will see how this goes.
Okay, yeah, fair. Can the power claw that the old boss had? It's I would need a mech boy to or a pain boy to slap that on me, right? I can't just sort of plug and play that.
I mean, you probably could.
Okay.
If you think you can, you probably can. I'll be honest with you.
Then I'm gonna yank off the chaos one.
Your hand with it.
Yeah, just bolt the old one onto the bottom of the snaz gun like a really ugly pointy bayonet, and then jam the new one on.
Palm up, so the blades are sticking up like that.
Yeah, exactly. Stat wise, it's the same, right?
It's a boss's power claw, so it's actually improved.
While you're looking at stats for that, do the Imperial Guard have apothecaries or field medics?
They have medics.
All right, I'm just gonna grab one of the medics that's nearby, probably staring, jaw agape, like straighten him up. Our new friendly war boss could probably use your ministrations, and I'm going to pat him over towards Godbrook and just watch the Imperial Guard figure out what to do.
As the guardsman medic just kind of looks up at you, and then looks at Godbrook, and then looks at his commissar, and you see Caiaphas just kind of, go on.
Caiaphas is going to argue with
for instance. Now, there's a good way.
Excuse me, these bits go on the inside.
And the medic walks over to Godbrook and is gonna try and heal the orc.
Laughter resumes from the Grey Knight.
Do they have a staple gun? Because I'm pretty sure that'll work.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll load this bit. You staple this closed.
I just like the idea of a commissar looking between a medic and a Grey Knight and deciding who he's going to disappoint.
And if you know anything about Caiaphas Cain, he's going to disappoint the medic.
I would just like to say that this entire sequence has been amazing.
All I did was point a sword and it resolved itself.
Okay, so he's gonna make a Medicaid test. This is technically a regroup, so you get to regain wounds equal to his Medicaid pool, which you get to regain 6 wounds.
All right. Not terrible.
You also recover shock in a regroup, because that will probably help you.
Yes, please. I would like to not be exhausted anymore. Do I get all of it? How much do we get back? Shock on a regroup.
Resting. 2 types of. I believe you recover all of your shock.
Okay.
If you spend 1 to 2 hours in a respite, you recover all of your shock.
Okay, yeah.
A regroup does nothing unless you have a medic treat wounds.
Yeah. Okay. So you get wounds back. You can also spend a wrath to regain shock.
Yep.
Okay.
Because you can.
Yeah, you spend a wrath and get 1d3 + 1 back.
I think it's actually just a solid number now. Hang on.
Nope. It is on page 196 for use your combat action and expend a point of wrath to restore shock.
That's weird because there's another thing in the wrath section. Hang on.
Huh.
162.
That might be 1d3 plus 1 in combat, but outside of combat
yeah,
it would
in
be
combat.
Restore shock. As an action, you can spend a wrath point to recover rank +3 shock. You can only do this if you're conscious. Yeah, I think that's just a holdover. That's a holdover typo from the old edition, because I know in the old edition it was 1d3 plus 1.
Okay,
so
yeah, that makes sense.
Your rank +3 shock.
So you get 6 shock back.
So
if you spend a wrath as an action.
After this, as the healing is going on, I'm going to turn towards Faust as I sheath my sword. Inquisitor, it seems you have quite an effective group in your battle against chaos. My own squad has unfortunately met their demise on this planet, but if you'll have me, I'd like to lend my blade to your cause.
Brother Captain, I would welcome the aid of the Grey Knights in a manageable number. I tend to be more of a scalpel as opposed to a hammer.
Consider me a Grey Knight errant, then, alone amongst your forces.
I appreciate the offer, and you are welcome among the Umbra Draconis' crew.
I'll reach up with one hand and pull the helmet off, and you have short-cut brown hair, blue eyes, and probably the most youthful-looking face you have ever seen on a Space Marine.
All of his features are definitely reminiscent of artistic depictions of the Emperor.
Particularly in the Emperor's youth.
Yes.
Well then.
Although, what that means is hard to say, because everyone who talks about the Emperor, as far as anyone like any records exist, have completely different recollections of what he looked like.
And there's just and like the only defined lines on his face are laugh marks. He seems to smile a lot under that helmet.
So, Gobrook, you get the orcs rally behind you, and one of them, the one you just spoke to, is like, "All right, I'll get a flyboy, bring you up to your cruiser." And at that point, you feel a tug on your boot.
I will look down.
You look down, and there's a grot standing there with an ammo belt slung around his shoulders. Boss, you was looking for an ammo run, yeah?
That's right. You's volunteering, is you?
I can carry your shooter ammo.
He has one ammo belt on.
I mean, you can see there's an empty ammo box, like, right behind him where he was carrying, like, someone else's bullets, but it's gone now.
All right.
What's your name, then?
God, grot names are so hard to form your mouth around. Grubgrim, sir.
Right then, Grubgrim. Here, take a look at this snaz gun.
And he'll heft it up and show all the different guns that he's got on it now that make up the gestalt entity that is the snaz gun now.
It's Grubgrin, by the way. Grubgrin.
Grubgrin, okay.
You get a good look, Grubgrin?
Yeah, boss.
Right, what I want you to do is look around and find anything that fits in any of these holes and put it in that there box.
Right, boss. And he just goes around and starts to scavenge the battlefield. And you can hear him proudly proclaiming, "Move aside for the new boss's ammo run!"
Does anybody move aside?
Other grots move aside.
Okay. None of the orcs, just the grots.
Yeah.
I like that one. He's got initiative.
More laughter from the Grey Knight.
I like this one too. He's a lot more cheerful than the other beakies. Plus, he's actually got a beak. What's your name then? Go ahead, sorry.
Showcase has just been surveying the scene in complete silence, but her drones are concerned about the both the frivolity of the Space Marine and the proceedings that Gobrick has just hijacked a complete war for himself.
It's not a big war, but it's definitely still a war.
A war's a war, no matter how it's painted.
He did just
painted
hijack.
purple. You won't see it coming.
He looted a war. It's the looted war.
Counterpoint, Cody. Showcase has seen a purple orc.
Yeah, but he wasn't truly purple.
I mean, he was covered in purple paint.
But in response,
there were members of the party that could not see him.
It's true.
I think Showcase could.
Showcase was not one of the people who could not see him.
Yep.
in response to Gobrick's question, Brother Captain Erasmus Altimari, and I'll be joining you and your friends along with Inquisitor Faust.
Right, good to have you as part of the new WAAAGH. I's Warboss Gobrick Teeth Tosser. These my boys.
He'll sort of gesture around. It's unclear if he's including the other members of the Inquisitors group or just the orcs.
I elbow Faust. I've never been part of a WAAAGH before.
Faust sort of grins. Neither have I.
Showcase's shield drone beeps at the mention of... Because she's not sure whether Gobrick is including her in the boys.
Mira takes off her helmet and bow and gives a short, curt bow to Erasmus. Welcome aboard. As you can see, odd things happen. Quite normally.
New and unique experiences are just another version. Oh, sorry. New and unique experiences are just another face of the Emperor's blessings.
And at that point, the other commissar sort of steps up to the Inquisitor. Well, Inquisitor, it's been unique working alongside you. Give my regards to Amberly if you meet her. And please don't bring this back. I think I'm going to have a hell of a time re-establishing morale after my regiment just learned that we just had a ceasefire with orcs. That's going to be a hell of a thing to iron out.
Tell them they surrendered.
That's going to be a problem.
Just don't mention they surrendered to another orc.
Yeah, the thing is, Valhallans and orcs have a history.
Call it a shift in the enemy tactics.
I'm going to call it something, and that's certainly what it's going to be. Explaining this to the commissariat. Oh, Emperor's blood.
Then I wish you luck, sir.
Right. You go soldier on for the greater good, he says, sort of trying to form the whatever ideal phrase for the Tau. He's remarkably charming even when he's stumbling.
Close, but not quite.
As he just sort of tips his cap, turns around and goes back to organizing his troops. As Faust sort of turns to look at the rest of you. You know, this might be useful. if a small orc WAAAGH can be properly directed at the right targets. Don't know how fast they're going to burn through it.
Well, you know what they say: a scalpel in the right hand. Sorry, I misspoke. A scalp in the right hand is always.
Oh, man.
Well then, shall we return to your vessel?
Just one moment. He sort of turns. Captain Knott, I believe we are Captain Damien Knott. And one of the Noxian irregulars sort of walks up. This sort of like thick, like friendly mutton chops, like the full mustache melding with the mutton chops on the side. Bald on the head with this sort of large stogie in his mouth that has not fallen out the entire fight. Sort of steps up. Right, Commissar Faust, what can I do for you? The Commissar sort of looks at him. It looks like I am departing for the moment. Tell Lieutenant Daniels that next time, plant the mines a little further away. It looks like some of your own men got caught in some of the shrapnel. Right, sir. Anything else I should relay on your way out? Tell them I'll be back eventually. After all, a good regiment like the Noxian Irregulars is always worth having to hand. Right, sir. Commissar, he says, with that obvious, I know you're not a commissar, but I'm just going with regs. And he salutes and turns around and starts gathering up his own men. And then Faust sort of turns to the rest. All right. I think it's time we departed this planet, with a WAAAGH behind us, apparently.
Better than a wall in front of us.
Depending on your perspective.
Well, it's not chasing us, so that's something.
Beside us is the best descriptor.
Congratulations, Godberg. And she kind of claps him on the shoulder.
Sorry, I was muted. I apologize. Thanks. And Godric returns the shoulder slap.
Okay.
Very hard, not unkindly so.
Yeah.
So that was a turn.
Hey. Not bad.
So, it takes a little while for Tonri to get the gun cutter up and running again. But after a while, it's moving, especially with some help from a couple of engineers from the Imperial Guard. Meanwhile, Gabrick joins his new WAAAGH on board his new cruiser.
What is the name of the cruiser currently?
Well, it was the Bad Moon Grin.
Okay.
You can decide to rename that, however, if you want. It is part of a fleet with 2 other cruisers and a handful of other light craft. This was not a super massive WAAAGH, but it was a significant force.
Okay. All right. I will. If I may ask a out of character meta question, how long do we think we're going to go tonight? Because if it's not like a super long amount of time, I may ask for a week to think of a fun name for the ship.
Got about 20 minutes.
Okay. Is that okay?
That's fine, yeah.
If I hold off on, okay.
Go for it.
All right. Okay, but so how many boys total are in the wall?
Your WAAAGH is sitting at a few thousand strong, especially after the fighting is reduced numbers. You're probably looking at, across all of the ships, about 6,000 to 7,000 orcs grand total.
Okay.
Which is a drastically reduced number from the sheer fighting with the Imperial Guard.
Okay.
But those numbers will go up quickly if you land anywhere.
I'm gonna give the gonna give as many boys as possible something to do when they are bringing in the loot from the battlefield, and hopefully teeth and stuff. Want to get that stuff itemized. I mean, hey, we're not the bad moons for nothing.
Mhm.
Got the most teeth.
I need to know how many teeth we got. Right, boss. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lots.
He's just at this point trying to keep the momentum up for everybody. What's the name of the orc that was the first one to approach me that came up, and is presumably still the one showing me around?
Dead Grin.
Dead Grin. Okay.
Which is different from Grub Grin,
Right.
but you don't know how different.
Dead Grin has his teeth are more blackened than the others.
And there would be is there a weird boy on every ship, on every cruiser?
No, orc ships just kind of go. But there are at least 2 weird boys in the fleet.
Okay. Right, Dead Grin. What's the name of our weird boys?
WAAAGH and what's the other one's name? Shocksticker. That's his name.
Right. Round them up. They on this cruiser or one of the others?
He's both on this one.
Right. Bring them up. We got to talk about making our way through Gork's Grin. And we had found a way, sort of, right? Thinking back to that session of
yes, there is a known passage that has been taken before that has worked.
Okay.
That is right around the Space Wolves' home world of Fenris.
Okay.
Take an orc fleet around Fenris.
Gita's gonna be so mad when she hears about this.
Well, I think I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I don't think she was there for that one, right? That was after Holly had to step away.
No, this is the first session that we have not had Holly.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, she was there for plotting the route.
Okay. All right. Gonna be tougher, I think, without the without our actual soldier of Fenris here, but we can shoot that in the face when we come to it. And Gobrook, like I said, is calling for the weird boys. Is going to try to make see if they can find any kind of better route, or at least just confirm that route. And then the Chaos Fleet is on the other side of the Grin in the Segmentum Obscura, or is over on this side.
There's for one, there's a lot of chaos activity in Imperium Nihilus on the other side of the Grin. But you do know that there is a major chaos fleet on this side of the Grin that was headed by the Primarch Ferris Menace. Or not Ferris Menace, that's Iron Hands. Perturabo of the Iron Warriors. Iron Hands, Iron Warriors. Easy to mix up. That is headed for Inuit, the homeworld of the Imperial Fists.
Okay. And is that a priority for us?
It's been warned about for the Imperial Fist so they can prepare for it, but Faust's retinue is not an army. It's not usually designed for taking on large-scale fights like that.
Right.
You suspect that's not the last that the Iron Warriors have been relevant, but...
Yeah. would it be possible to take the whole fleet through, or is it going to be easier if I divert some of them to a fight on this side and just take the one cruiser?
I mean, the more things you have, the more likely something will make it through. But
that sounds orky as hell. All right, cool. All right, so and what is? I mean, am I getting any pushback from anybody at any point?
Roll me. I'm gonna have you roll me 2 tests. One, roll me an intimidation test, and then second, roll me a weapon skill test.
Okay. And I will say in
ballistic skill, actually, because that's your better one.
Sure. And I'm sorry, the first was intimidation and then ballistic skill?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I got a complication on that one, so that's not great.
William.
It's otherwise a 4, but with a complication. And then ballistic skill, without any of the bonuses, is not bad.
Nice.
It's a 13.
Yes, John?
Understanding that secrecy is a big part of the Grey Knights, how much of Grey Knight ritualism would an Inquisitor be privy to, particularly an Inquisitor of the Ordo Malleus?
Ordo Malleus Inquisitors are one of the few people who are actually privy to most of what the Grey Knights do, to the point that they can also learn the same sanctic powers that Grey Knights can learn.
So I have a conversation with Faust on the way back to the ship, but that can wait until you finish with Craig.
That actually kind of dovetails with something that I wanted to say, which was, I mean, as much fun as I have playing Gobruk, it is not my intention to make this the Gobruk Teeth Tosser show. So I am more than happy to kind of gloss over as much of this as you want to.
That's why I was giving you a couple of rolls. So yeah, a couple of orcs you have to gun down to solidify your position. So you have to take out a couple of your knobs on the way, but you manage to solidify your position as head of this small WAAAGH.
Okay. And I will, if you are letting me stay a war boss for now, I will talk to you between this week and next about maybe redoing Gobruk as a knob or a war boss.
You pulled the thing off, so okay. I will. As it's a little logistically weird, but I will not take away from you the thing that you definitely earned.
Okay, all right. Well, we can talk about how to balance that, because I don't want to. It sounds like I'm getting a bunch of stuff from another class, essentially. So I don't want to unbalance that by keeping both things.
Don't worry about it. We will handle it in conversation over the course of the next week.
Yeah,
got it.
But meanwhile, with the rest of you,
Inquisitor Faust,
Captain Erasmus.
So, just as a fair warning, the reason I was here on planet was hunting after a blasphemous lair of demonic activity, which would also be why I am the only Grey Knight currently here. The others fell. As to the purpose, however, this may be something that will cause some amount of influence on our relationship, though hopefully not too terribly much. I am in the midst of my quests to become a paladin, and I have reached the point at which I must hunt down 4 demon heralds. There was not one here. However, in the future, should we receive information regarding the location of others, I would appreciate that information being passed along.
I will let you know if I find anything. As it so happens, our primary task is to hunt down a chaos-worshipping cult of talented individuals known as the Cognitae. You may get your chance along the lines of this mission.
That would be my hope.
Very well. Let us return to the Umbra Draconis, and we will see how the situation unfolds.
As we continue walking, just musing to himself, I wonder if we can get a line on a halberd or power claw. Because Nemesis power claw, or Nemesis power fists are really cool. And I can have a Nemesis power fist with my Stormbolter because the Stormbolter is mounted on my wrist. Yeah.
So, the group returns to the Umbra Draconis, aside from Galbraith, who is currently on what is currently named the Bad Moon Grin. You get the idea that a lot of people have Grin in their name because of this ship.
Yeah.
And the rest of you return to the Umbra Draconis and arrive back on board. Is there anything that needs to be done before we depart this world?
No.
I need to fire a report off back to the Grey Knights headquarters about the unfortunate deaths of my squad mates, but aside from that...
I will get you an astropath who can send a message to Titan.
Thank you.
So, Faust will give you access to an astropath to send your message off.
Right. It's the basic, brother captain reporting in, squad dead, me alive, joining up with an Inquisitorial team, continuing my quests.
Mm-hmm. And you send that message out.
Yep.
The astropath sends it off into the void. Hopefully it'll get there.
And then I kill
mostly
the
intact.
And then I killed the astropath. No.
I mean, strictly speaking, you might want to, and astropaths are expendable.
Yeah, I killed the astropath after the message is sent off. You
have done your service to the Emperor. Snap.
Yeah. This is called encryption.
Christ. I love it.
Hey,
Like, I'm not even kidding. That's probably something that Grey Knights do most of the time. If they have to send sensitive information, the astropath dies afterwards.
Yeah. Particularly if it's not a Grey Knight, astropath.
Yeah.
Even and considering the Inquisition, they probably go through a lot of astropaths that way.
They do. Fortunately, astropaths are recruited en masse. There's a reason you don't really see much in the way of names regarding them.
Any who aren't fed to the Emperor are used otherwise.
Nope.
Oh, yeah. So, message off. Call in a crew to dispose of the body.
Okay. So, the message gets sent. Astropath is executed with honors, of course.
Of course.
Anyone who performs this service dies with honor. And so the group of you gather up on the bridge as what the hell is your Master of Etheric's name? Crew of the I literally just closed the Crew of the Umbra Draconis on accident. Master of Etherics, Alex Natrios. As Alex is pulling up a connection to the Bad Moon Grin so that Faust can speak with Galbraith and the rest of you. Very well. I've been brought up to speed on the situation. My understanding is that our next location to search would probably be trying to hunt down Gideon Ravenor on the other side of the Great Rift.
Who would be this Ravenor?
A bit of history. Long ago, a few centuries back, I should say, there was an incident with the same cult we are hunting now, the Cognitae, which has existed for many millennia, as far back as the age of the Emperor's time. In several different forms. But, most recently, an inquisitor by the name of Gregor Eisenhorn went to war with the Cognite in his own way, and through many different situations laid low the Cognite at the time. He has been in and out of the Inquisition's good graces throughout the Helican subsector of the Segmentum Obscurus. Most recently, he has been branded Renegade. Whether that was rightfully or not, I am not one to judge. I am not ensconced in the activities of the Helican subsector. However, his most trusted comrade was his Inquisitorial trainee, Gideon Ravenor, who was a gifted psyker in his own right, as was his mentor, near fatally injured in an attack on the capital world of the Helican subsector. He has since been confined to a power chair, which will sustain his life force and allow him to carry on his duties. Had previously been retired until being brought out of retirement to hunt down his mentor after his most recent being declared renegade. Last known locations of both of them prior to the emergence of the Cicatrix Maledictum was in the Segmentum Obscurus.
This Eisenhorn, Ordo Malleus?
Both of them are actually Ordo Xenos.
Interesting that they would get caught up hunting a demon cult, then.
The paths we take as members of the Inquisition are winding. From my understanding of records, their initial contact into delving into the Cognite did come from Ordo Xenos allegations, as the cult had been making use of Xenos tech to further their designs. And that had been the initial line that had led first Eisenhorn and then subsequently Ravenor onto the trail of the Cognite. However, with Ravenor is still active among the Inquisition, while Eisenhorn is considered renegade. So Ravenor would be our first point of contact to attempt to see if he's made any progress in hunting down his former mentor. To that end, we need to penetrate the Great Rift. Once on the other side, we will be largely blind. It will be difficult to navigate, and we'll be making short jumps. It'll be far less free roaming than our current escapades have been up until that point. We will be staying in one place for much longer. I hope all of you are prepared for the journey ahead.
When you think you can't be far enough from home already. I digress, Inquisitor. I will be prepared.
Worry not, fellows. Where I walk, the light of the Emperor shines behind me, even in the darkest reaches of space.
I gotta be honest, I was trying on new hats, so I missed a lot of that, but the Chief Joshua was at your back.
Any response from Mira?
Sorry, I had my other microphone muted. Because I can mute it on Discord, or I can mute it. Yeah. Yeah, she... So long as we have faith in the Emperor, we are always prepared.
Well spoken. Then let us...
She pats her sword.
Then let us set off for the Great Rift. And that is where we will end for the week.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.